So we get now to WarGames predictions for Sunday, the fourth installment of the WarGames event. We've talked about this before. Are the events losing their luster? Yeah, arguably yes, but I am still excited for the show on Sunday. Maybe not as much as they have been in recent years, just because the show really feels thrown together. But it does look to be a solid card on paper. So we start from the bottom, work our way to the top here, to the match just announced last night right after NXT, which you could probably tell was going to happen based off what we've been seeing in recent weeks. But Timothy Thatcher taking on Tommaso Ciampa one-on-one for the first time ever in NXT. Should be a good match. My only issue with this, I like Timothy Thatcher a lot. He had that huge fight pit win over Matt Riddle, which was major for him. And he's done absolutely nothing since then. He's beaten a couple people on the show, but I feel like whenever it fucking matters most, the guy always loses. He lost to Finn Balor. I'm pretty sure he lost to Dexter Lumis a couple of weeks ago. He may have beaten him, but I don't remember. I know he lost to Damian Priest in a match for the championship. I'm pretty sure he lost to someone else as well. Maybe Bronson Reed, but he's lost to a bunch of people, and I don't think this is going to be any exception.
Yeah, I think this is a win for Ciampa. I mean, like you said with Thatcher, I think he's good, but he seems to be that guy that just can't win the big one. He's kind of like Damian Priest before Priest got his nick this last push.
I was gonna say Tyler Breeze circa 2015 or so.
Yeah, you could say that as well. I mean, I think he did lose to Lumis a couple weeks ago too. So he did lose to Lumis as well. If my memory serves me right, but yeah, I mean Ciampa. It makes sense. Ciampa gets the win here. He's not really doing much of note, so it's kind of sucky that he'll be beating Thatcher. But I mean, he is one of their bigger players, so you can't have him lose here.
Yeah, I think he's going to lose. And the thing is, too, that Tommaso Ciampa probably needs the victory, too. He hasn't won on a takeover all year. He kind of needs a notable win. I got to be fair to him. Thatcher needs more just because he's not as established as Ciampa. But in 2020 has not been kind of Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, the guy lost to Adam Cole to take over Portland. He lost to Johnny Gargano in that cinematic match. He lost to Karrion Kross to take over In Your House. Just not a very good time right now for Tommaso Ciampa. So I assume this is a win for him, as it should be, but I do want Thatcher to get some more spotlight going forward. Strap match, you mentioned Dexter Lumis, Cameron Grimes. Lumis already had a strap match against Roderick Strong earlier on in the year, which is why I think he wins here. Grimes is another one. I think he's very good. I think he needs a big win on a takeover. He hasn't won on a takeover yet, I don't think. But I think he loses here because they see more on Lumis, and which is fine, but I just think he needs a win, but I think he loses here.
Yeah, the way the story's going, I mean, I think Grimes is the bigger star, and Grimes should win, but, I mean, they're obsessed with Dexter Lumis. I mean, I think he's good, but the whole gimmick and stuff, just doesn't do too much for me. I think there's more potential in Grimes, but it seems like the way they're going, Lumis will win here, and then hopefully we'll move on from this story because it's been a fucking shit show.
Triple threat for the NXT North American Championship. Leon Ruff defending against both Johnny Gargano and Damian Priest. I think Gargano and Priest cancel each other out here. I think Ruff losing it this soon would be too predictable. And I said before that if you're going to put the belt on the guy, that's fine. But they have to try to make this worthwhile. They got to milk it for all that it's worth. And I'm not saying he should be champion for 6 months, but I think you can get more out of him than just this match. So I think because it's a triple threat, Priest and Gargano, again, kind of cancel each other out. Ruff retains, and maybe he moves on to Pat McAfee, who beats him for the belt, maybe at some point in the next month or so, and I think I'd be okay with that. Maybe after Ruff goes through another title defense or two, but I do think this is a win for Leon Ruff, though.
Yeah, completely agree with you. I think Priest and Gargano, like you said, cancel each other out. Maybe they get someone hits a finisher on the other. Ruff kind of just tosses them out and gets the win, or it could get kind of a fluky win. But I think Ruff winning here makes the most sense. I don't want them to put the belt on just to take it right off. It just, if you're going to do it, make sure you capitalize on it. I don't know if they've done a great job on that, because they've basically made this guy seem like the biggest fucking wimp of all time and a loser. But, I mean, they can turn it around, I think. But, I mean, McAfee beating him for the belt, not that it's predictable. I could see it coming. I think it would be a great idea and give his faction a little bit more gold. But I would keep the belt on Ruff a little bit longer to kind of solidify the championship's done a little hot potato lately.
Yep.
So keep it on one person would be would be nice for a little bit.
I agree. We get to the women's War Games match. Team Shotzi, rather, now complete with herself, Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and the NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai against Team Candice, which consists of Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm. This is a stacked match. And I enjoyed last year's women's War Games, but I think this might be even better given the level of talent involved. And last year's was really 4-on-2, let's be fair here. So for an actual women's War Games match, this might be great. This might be even better than the men's match, which is saying something. So I'm really looking forward to this. They've made sense. I wasn't a fan of it originally. It felt forced and random, but a lot of these women have issues. Toni turned on Ember. Ember was previously feuding with Dakota Kai and Raquel. Dakota has issues with Shotzi and Io. They're coming off their feud. Rhea had her feud with Raquel, and recently Io and other friends, and Candice is feuding with Shotzi. There's a lot going on here. I think it's going to be a great match. But because Shotzi picked up the War Games advantage last night, and I feel like it's just more of a stacked team, they have more to gain here, I think Team Shotzi goes over.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, I think either team could win, and I wouldn't really have an issue with it. Maybe if Shotzi's team win, and then Shotzi can get a title match with Io. I don't think she's the one to beat Io, but maybe they can go on that aspect. Or you go in the other way. Maybe Toni Storm wins it for her team. They do her and Io next. I mean, I think there's endless possibilities. Either team winning, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I think I like both teams equally, so I think this should be a great match, like you said, and I honestly, I'll go with Shotzi's team to win, but I don't think either way, I'm not going to be mad. I think it should be a good match.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good match regardless. We have the entire Undisputed Era battling Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch, the NXT Tag Team Champions, in another men's War Games match on this show. Undisputed Era have been involved in all 4 War Games matches. Some have been better than others, but they've all been great, and I expect this to be no exception. Undisputed Era are coming into this one as the baby faces. So this one I feel like more than any other match on the card can go either way. Because Undisputed Era have not won in War Games in 3 years. The thing is, though, they're already established. McAfee, I mean, I guess the other guys are too. McAfee and, not McAfee, but Dunn, Lorcan, and Burch have been around for a long time, but they're not established as a unit. So if they're going to be sticking around as a heel stable, which I like just because they've been very good in NXT lately, I think it'd be too soon to break them up. I think they got to win here, especially if they have these guys go on to have like McAfee win the North American title, and they have Pete Dunne potentially beat Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. I think there's more there. So I'm thinking it's a heels win. I don't know. I'm torn between who's going to win here, but I'm gonna go with Team McAfee. I think they're the better bet.
Yeah, I'm going with Team McAfee here as well. I just, like you said, I think they're the better bet. I think they need to win more. Undisputed Era is already established. They don't technically need the win, so I'll go with Team McAfee here. I think it makes more sense, and that's who I'm going with.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it can very well go either way, but Undisputed Era have already done all there is to do. They're probably on their way out at some point, ideally soon. So I think just having them win on the way out probably wouldn't make the most sense, but it would make for a cool moment after having lost the last 2 War Games matches in 2018 and 2019, respectively. But overall, it should be a good show. I always look forward to the takeovers. The build of this one has been undoubtedly rushed. But that being said, they always deliver. There's been nothing but good to great to amazing takeovers over the years, so I expect this to be no exception.